Hello, everyone. This is Anthony Bionis from the Mission Start Podcast. And if you enjoy listening to this podcast, as well as our other ones on our website, you can now hear us on Stitcher. You can now hear our shows well on the go with Stitcher Smart Radio, on-demand news, talk, and more on your mobile phone. The latest episodes always available for you, no syncing needed, and no money or storage wasted. Available on your iPhone, iPad, Android phones, and beyond. Downloading is easy. Go to Stitcher.com or check out your app store. Stitcher, Smart Radio, the smarter way to listen to radio. Hello, everybody. This is Anthony Bionis from Mission Center Podcast, and this is a slightly different kind of episode because me or none of the other people from the site actually went. So I got two other people to help me out with that. With me today, we have Dan.
Hello.
And we have Jeremy.
Hello.
And the funny thing is that, as I told you guys prior or before the show started, is that like I was on the outside looking in. I've been to AXPen twice. I think it's like, was it last year and about one in 2008, 2007. I was going to go this year, but things got money went down for some odd reason. But so I was also looking, and I was looking at whatever was coming out of Anime Expo news, or kind of just like what big things were happening. And my curiosity took to what was on everybody's mind was how ESPN's X Games was going to collide with Anime Expo's events and all that sort of thing. But first, let me ask both of you. First off, how long have you guys been going to AX?
Since 1993.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm what you call old.
Don't worry, buddy. I'm there too. What about you, Dan?
This is my first time actually, and actually first time going to a convention too.
Awesome. Great. We have two awesome perspectives. Yay. Sweet. So my question is then first tell me, Dan, since this was your first anime convention, what did you have any expectations going to it, or what was your experience like going to Anime Expo?
Well, it's not what I expected it to be, but a lot of people told me it's going to be like lots of things to do. It's overwhelming and stuff. But when I got there, I guess I came there pretty late too. I only went on one day.
Mm-hmm.
Like I got there around like 12 or something. I waited in line to get tickets, and it took about like an hour.
Which day did you go, Dan? I mean,
Saturday.
1, 2, 3, 4? Okay, so day 2.
Yeah. The line was pretty long.
Awesome. No. It's cool because at least from what was it? I think last time I went was last year. It was like days 1. I think it was. It was like early in the morning, and there was like a huge ass line to get the badge, and now it's pre-reg, so it took me a while, but now it's actually not that bad.
Yeah, isn't it amazing how easily that we line up for this stuff these days?
I know, seriously. we wait in lines for almost. Man, we're very patient people.
I know, and it almost seems like if we don't find a line, we have to make one. Can we just start one right here?
Yeah, really, and it could be for anything, really.
Yeah.
So Jeremy, you've been going for a long time.
Yeah, since velociraptors were hunting my family, yes.
So, just out of curiosity, what did you think of this year's Anime Expo?
I won't lie, I'm one of the people that doesn't think that things have been headed in the right direction for the last few years.
Mm-hmm.
But, even then, friends asked me to come and just visit with them and do stuff. So I walked in with, I guess you could call guarded expectations. I wanted a lot to come out of it, but I was just kind of, I'm not sure what I was entirely expecting. And the odd part is I had more fun at the hotel than I had at the actual convention.
Interesting.
I arranged a pizza dinner for the Toho cosplayers, so we all met in the hotel, sat down, ate. I met up with several friends, played Rock Band. Part of that was colored by what you mentioned with the X Games influence. Having to walk from the JW Marriott to the convention center usually takes 5 minutes, and during the convention it could take anywhere from 15 to 20,
Wow.
maybe 30. walking beneath 2 parking garages and underneath
Damn.
the X Games big air ramp. So
Damn.
it was just one of those things where you're walking around wondering, am I going the right way? Is anyone going to stop me for any reason? I don't. It made everything so much more hectic and pressured for no real reason.
Right. And I talked about this on, I think, a video I did 2 weeks ago, because I have looked up, and it was very interesting for me to find out that the X Games and Anime Expo are going to both happen at the same time in that same weekend. And I was very curious as far as like how would that work out. So I went online and looked at a map as far as like what the X Games was taking up and what Anime Expo was taking up. And the ESPN X Games seems to win out more with a lot more space it took up than what Anime Expo had. And it seemed that majority of Anime Expo's space was like restricted to just the convention center itself.
That's pretty accurate. When the whole thing first came up, I mean, my first thought is, cool, there's going to be more people around, maybe we can meet more people. And then I started reading about how things were fenced off, what they were taking over, and the further I dig, the more I found out that ESPN seems to be a subsidiary of Disney. So if you want to talk people that could take over in a moment's notice, they're it.
Pretty much, yeah. They were huge. So that was interesting to see and how things worked out. Dan, curiosity, do you cosplay?
Do I crossplay or
Cosplay.
You can answer either question.
Yeah.
No, I was thinking about it, but I ended up didn't. But yeah. I was like to ask them, right? Were you that guy at the Toho gathering, and then did you lost your voice?
Oh my God! Yeah.
That
was me, the croaker.
Dan, when you were there at Anime Expo, what was your impressions of some of the cosplays you saw?
Cosplay or crossplay?
Cosplay. Sorry if I'm making it sound like crossplay because I'm eating an apple.
Okay. They were pretty good. There was lots of League of Legends cosplayers.
Mm-hmm.
Lots. I don't know. Lots of Madokas.
Yeah, there was a lot of those at Anime when I went to this past year, and there was a lot of Madoka cosplayers. Yeah, I mean, I haven't watched it yet, but I guess I should since like everybody else has been raving about it. But yeah, I'm not surprised. So be honest with me. You've seen the cosplays, all right? So tell me, since it was your first time seeing all types of people cosplay, in your opinion, like, what were the cosplays that stood out to you? And it can be for any reason at all.
It would be hilarious if he unknowingly names mine. I would laugh if that happened.
He says Manfei, I might have to run for the hills.
I think Manfei has a voice as good as mine. No.
I haven't talked to the dude.
Go on, Dan.
Let me try to remember. Oh, man, it's some of the cross players, I guess. Like there was from the Toho projects, things the Mei Ling. He had breast pads too, and he was wearing lipsticks, I think.
Wow.
I think he was wearing lipsticks though. I guess he's in character.
Yeah, I hear you. The funny thing is that I think at anime conventions you can get away with cross-playing and it'll be fine.
Oh yeah, totally.
Yeah, especially for the Toho groups. Like I've seen more guys cross-play in that than I've seen in other groups, honestly. Which is cool. I don't mind.
Every character in the Toho project is a female. Like there are girls.
Yeah. That's cool, dude. Like, I think we have to admit though, like all of us, like on a guy level, like there's a lot of fan service from girl cosplayers. Not to say anything, no, you girls are awesome. It's just that
we're not.
Oh, nobody said we didn't like it.
Yeah, it's just like your costumes are awesome, but it's just like from a guy's perspective, sometimes it's like, yeah, awesome cosplay, and then like, yeah, fan service. Woo.
Like any other anime, you can see it, don't touch it.
Yep, pretty much. God, I'm getting hate mail for that. I'm sorry. But anyways, so I'm gonna call you G because that's what's on here.
Yeah, no, just call me G.
G, yeah. With that awesome kind of Steve Blum voice going on.
Well, we can make it more like Steve Blum if you want. Hey there, folks. Welcome to Anime Expo podcast. It's another thing on Toonami. Right after that, Dragon Ball Z and maybe Rurouni Kenshin.
Dude, I got a shiver up my spine. Don't do that.
So G, introduce yourselves to kind of to all of us, because you kind of snuck up on.
Okay, so everyone calls me G. On Coscom, it's G-Force. On ACP, it's G-Force. On World Cosplay Summit, it's G-Force. There's an ongoing pattern. I hope you'd figure it out. Not much to say about me. I've been cosplaying for 6 years, aspiring voice actor. I'm horribly biased in favor of Anime Expo. It's treated me well. I've competed in Last Comic Standing in 2009, AX Idol in 2011. Did pretty well for myself. Loved the con to death.
Wait.
Well, I just love...
Wait, are you? Wait, I think I might know you.
Huh?
I think I might know you.
No, it's not about the $5 or the car that nearly ran you over. Not that. No.
Okay, so were you the guy who at AX Idol, was it last year? I think it was. Were you the guy who sang, what was it?
I didn't sing.
Oh, you didn't sing?
You were probably the second guy. Please don't tell me that you thought I was the Mike Haggard dude, because you're the second guy who would confuse me. It was the same year, but I didn't sing.
Okay. I thought maybe, but no, okay. All right. That's cool. But your voice does sound, yeah. Anyways, so G, how long have you been going to Anime Expo, or convention-wise?
I could tell you right now, 2009 was my first year, so I wasn't there during the good old years when it's down in Anaheim.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you said you've been cosplaying for 6 years. Where have you been prior?
It's Fanime. It was just Fanime, then 2009 was, let's go to other cons, and then it just kind of snowballed into that.
Awesome. Sweetness. So, this year at Anime Expo, and if you hear me munching on food, because I'm eating apples, what were your thoughts on this year's Anime Expo?
I loved it, especially the registration line. I didn't care much for the X Games, but that's beyond AX's control. I really didn't see any problems there. Staff didn't really hassle me. I mean, the occasional badge pull, I thoroughly enjoyed it. The only dark mark on it was I had to stay at the historic Mayfair Hotel, which never again. No.
Can't say I've had that experience.
Yeah, I think we all had that experience at one time or another, except for Dan here. He's a newbie of the group.
After 21 years and 26 conventions, I'm an admitted hotel snob. I have to know where I'm going.
Awesome.
Well, at that late in the game, beggars couldn't be choosers.
Yeah.
I'm not going to pretend to know your situation.
So, I want to, because, okay, we have to talk about this because it's the big elephant in the room. We all know the X Games was there, ESPN was there at the same time as Anime Expo. It was taking up a lot more space than Anime Expo did last year. And because Disney and ESPN are such big entities that they have the power to do so, and Anime Expo can't really say much. So, with that being said, what were your guys' thoughts on how the X Games was there and how kind of the crowd was reacting to you? Because normally cosplayers and normal people, quote unquote, we were used to it, but we have never quite had the experience of meeting the people who go to the X Games. Just going to go check it out.
Would either of you guys like to go first on this? Because I got a layered answer there.
Oh, yeah. That's, I really got familiar with the parking garage near the JW Marriott. And everything was great until they blocked out the main street.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's right. That created a problem. Day one, we were allowed to walk across Chick Hearns on Figueroa. For those who don't know, that's
Day zero, day one was pretty ace. It was just this construction, whatever. It's cool.
Right.
I can do whatever I want.
One street separating LA Live from the convention center. Unfortunately, day 2, I got up, and at about 9:30, I started my walk with a couple other guys. We got all the way to the corner of Figueroa and Chick Hearns before we found out that the fences were up and no one was allowed to cross there. So we had to backtrack across LA Live again. And then we happened to come across it was kind of a combination of following the crowd and the vague recollections I had of the X Games map before I left for the convention. So it turned into a bit of a mess.
Wow. Yeah, because I was really really interested to see how would the two societies collide, and a sociologically point of view, because like we are a bunch of nerds and we have a passion for our hobbies, either be gaming, anime, cosplay, and whatnot. We go to anime conventions to kind of express our views on them, and combination of our group of group of X Games, which consist of people who love to skateboard. They love extreme sports. They're a different crowd than we're used to. So
Yeah,
I was wondering, have you guys you guys are talking about like the situation space wise, yes, but I'm wondering what you guys were. Did you run into any of the X gamers that were in the area or near the area of Anime Expo, and like the interaction with them? How was that?
I was
Here's-
scared.
Man, you were luckier than I was. I was staying at the JW, so interaction was kind of par for the course. Here's the odd thing, is that I'm kind of a strange nerd, weighing about 260 pounds, formerly played football. I kind of dabble on both ends of the rainbow there. And when I was in costume, I was dressed up as Base Armstrong a couple times. I was dressed up as Luke Cage. The X Gamers
Christmas.
Exactly. Thank you. The X Gamers would routinely make fun of me in costume. I paid it no mind. I just got to where I was going because I have other things to do with my time.
I see.
Out of costume, though, everyone kept asking me, so what do you think of the X Games?
Really?
Yeah, I didn't try to put the two together, but I guess because I'm physically burly, no one really saw me as going to the Anime Expo, even though I had the nice badge around my neck. And
You must have thought you just stole it off a nerd bra.
probably that possibility. But coloring the other end of it is I'm married. I'm 35 and married. My wife was using the elevator, the JW Marriott, and you have to use your key card to get above the
Oh, dude,
bottom
I
couple
totally
floors there.
read this story on the forum.
Yeah, it's
Shucks.
100% true. She was trying to use the card reader. Somebody walked in with an X Games badge, put their hand on her chest, pushed her out of the way, and pinned her to the wall of the elevator while they just had to use the key card first to get upstairs. I don't like starting fights that are unnecessary, but this is my wife, and I swear to God, if I was available, that would have made the newspapers.
Wow. Okay, I'm kind of speechless. Okay, so
And I'm also a legal secretary. I happen to work for lawyers, and the guy I work with just happened to raise all these interesting words like sexual assault, battery. He really wishes I had the name of the individual.
was it?
Dead on arrival. Good one.
So was just to go about it a little briefly, like, so was the person pushing your wife, was he like a security maybe, or was he like like one of the athletes maybe that was doing
I
it?
believe the term we'd like to use is douchebag. Can I say that on the podcast?
Yes, you're welcome.
According to the details my wife relayed and could remember, he just appeared to be an average numbnut going to the X Games. But he obviously had a very me-first attitude.
Interesting.
Yeah, I think that's, well, it does kind of fall into the stereotype of X Games. I think that was more of just a douchebag being a douchebag who just happened to have an X Games badge.
Yeah.
I'm not going to pretend that every person that goes to the X Games is just oil and water with every person going to the Anime Expo, but my experiences running between the two were not positive.
I see. Interesting. G, what was your experience kind of interacting with some of the X
Interesting enough, the X Game attendees liked me, even in cosplay, but I think that was because of the character I picked was just universally liked and not overtly weeaboo. Quote, weeaboo. And something
Or you cosplaying as?
I was Uncle Chan from Jackie Chan Adventures.
Oh, I saw you!
No way. Really? Were you that guy?
See, I told you you guys might have named my stuff. Yes, I was Uncle Chan from Jackie Chan Adventures, and anybody who's anybody Well, I was fucking Uncle from Jackie Chan Adventures. Even the X Games security guards were like, oh shoot, can I get your picture?
Wait, by any chance were you?
Not in the mood to accept your dumbassery.
Hiya.
Wait, by any chance we have anime?
Yeah.
Oh
I don't.
Oh shit! I saw you did.
I don't think there's a lot of Uncle Chen cosplayers walking around, bro.
Your costume was pretty dope though, and I love how you kept in character the entire time. That was so awesome.
Thanks, but nevertheless, it's just one of those characters that everybody loves, be it anime attendee or non-anime attendee. So it was kind of my shield. I equated to some guy dressed up as Batman walking around the X Games. No one's gonna get Batman shit. It's Batman.
Yeah, it's
Hatsune
Batman.
Hatsune Miku, what's that? That's Japanese T-Pain, whatever.
Oh man, how right you are. Okay, so interesting enough to have these two different perspectives as far as like how the X Games collided with Anime Expo and 10D.
Oh, I did not enjoy the X Games there. Let me just get that off my chest right now. I got lucky. I got lucky.
Yeah, I will.
So,
oh, go ahead.
I will say I did take the cab out of the Mayfair to a hotel because people thought I was a girl since I was dressed up as Emperor Kusa from Emperor's New Groove, and like I was getting the little cat call whistles, so I went like, fuck this, take the cab, but that's a whole different story.
I gotcha. It's better to be safe than sorry.
Yeah, I'm about as dainty as a rhino, so I'm not going to get that attention.
Dan, as the newcomer to conventions, and as far as this one, you picked a very interesting time to go to your first anime convention. I'll say that for sure.
Yeah.
Your thoughts on how the X Games and Anime Expo kind of collided, and how, for obvious reasons, it made things, for better or for worse, to get to Anime Expo, transportation-wise, a bit difficult.
The transportation-wise, it wasn't that difficult, I guess. I just got there. Got dropped off, actually. I don't have a car yet.
Okay, gotcha.
I don't know. Since this is my first time, I don't know what's the difference between this year and last year. I guess it's more crowded. Well,
We definitely had a lot more space, and the JW Marriott was a lot closer.
Yeah. I think what it was, like, I mean, now, like last year, all the space that Anime Expo took up, like that was the same space that, I mean, X Games took up this year. That was the space that Anime Expo took last year. Like they had access of the Nokia Theater in that area for the Masquerade and the Rave and everything else. And oh, excuse me. And they had access to both entrances to get into the convention center.
Yeah, basically everything between the JW and the convention center we used to have for, or at least with the exception of last year, we have for spread room. So this year seemed insanely crowded inside. I don't think there were more people attending. We just had nowhere else to be.
Yeah. So it was again very interesting time to go to your first anime convention, Dan. But you did it.
The wrong gear.
Well, next year will hopefully be an improvement automatically because the X Games and the AX are once again a month apart.
Oh yeah, they definitely. I looked up the date for Anime Expo for next year, and it was going to be, I believe, July
4th.
July 4th to the 6th or 7th.
7th, yeah.
7th, yeah. So, in those cases, I think that they'll avoid the X Games entirely.
Yeah, I think this is because of the Olympics or something that this had to happen.
True. I mean,
there was a bunch of dates shifted around for the Olympics, so the X Games shifted up, and the AX just kind of stared and said, "What do we do?"
But it's still not the strangest thing that we've shared a venue with for AX, because in 2009, AX was right next to Michael Jackson's funeral.
What? No word, really?
Yeah, in 2009, the funeral happened the day before the AX started, and there were a bunch of people going to the funeral at the Nokia Theater who were just kind of snickering at all the cosplayers. Wow. If you stare at people going to a funeral across the hall from, a bunch of gun bunnies, I can't tell you who is weirder dressed.
Wow, I have not heard of that, but that is awesome. Wow.
It was more surprisingly awkward, but...
Right, I hear you. Wow. Dan, what were some of the stuff you check out at Anime Expo?
The exhibit hall, of course.
You could spend days in there.
You could easily spend a grand in that exhibit hall. It is insane.
Yeah, not to steal his thunder, but one of the things that Anime Expo did that I thought was brilliant was offer a exhibit hall only badge.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, that thing.
I'm still on the fence about that.
But then go on.
That's pretty much all I went to. That's all the time I had, and then I went to the whole gathering, and that's about it. I didn't do much at all.
I see. Dan, just to let you know, you may have gone to one of the biggest exhibit halls that I think in the California conventions that I've been to. Seriously, like that exhibit hall is insanely huge.
Won't argue that, but it was also stupidly crowded this year.
Yes, it was very crowded.
Yeah, imagine human rivers. I mean, if you try and go against the flood, you're either going to create a dam or you're just going to get swept up and pushed down. And everybody was trying to take refuge at whatever table they could get to shop. So you sometimes got caught in the river, unable to stop because it was wall-to-wall humanity along the tables.
Gotcha. So, Jeremy, tell me, what were the things you checked out at Anime Expo this year?
I went to the dealer's hall. I was involved in the Dead or Alive cosplay group. As you heard, I hung out with the Toho cosplayers for a little while. I went to Lounge 21 during a morning, and that turned out to be one of the more relaxing things I did.
How was that? Because I was very curious about that when I saw it on Anime Expo's website.
I went in the morning, so there wasn't a band playing. They were playing this smooth jazz, which was very zen. You know, as soon as you walked in, you had the option of buying some sort of drink, be it alcoholic or a tentacle grape and a water.
Mm-hmm.
There were several tables set up, including a few couches, and I gotta say, it was really nice with the X Games in between, not having to just sit around like a refugee in the hallways and just go upstairs and plant myself for a few minutes without somebody saying, "Okay, you're a fire hazard, move along."
Right. Wow, that sounds really relaxing. That's awesome. How was it set up when you entered? Was there like a bar kind of to the side, or how exactly was the whole thing set up?
It was right above Hall G where they had the concerts. They had double doors open. As soon as you walked in, there was an underlit bar right in front of you. It was like one guy in a button-up shirt and a vest. You know, he asked what you wanted, you paid him, and as soon as you grabbed it, you could go basically cross the room and sit down wherever hit your fancy. There was also a couple of reps from, well, I guess you'd call them reps, but probably cosplayers too, from Cosplay Deviants walking around asking people what they thought of the soda. They asked my opinion, but I guess they didn't expect a lot of one-word answers. You know, being married kind of insulates you when somebody's trying to give you a small flirt.
Right. Huh, that's interesting. So the Cosplay Deviants were there to kind of, I guess, ask people about the drink, about the grape tentacle drink thing?
Two of them. They were also doing some socializing. I'm sure they were doing some in-person, pseudo advertisements for the site.
Right. Huh. Interesting. Man, that sounds so awesome, though. Man, I'm jealous now. What were other things you checked out at the Anime Expo?
Honestly, not as much as I would have liked. The panel list didn't catch my attention. The guests of honor weren't of my interest, so I didn't go out of my way to do that. And with the X Games around, it really felt like once you got to the convention center, it felt like you needed to stay there because it was such a hassle to move back and forth. So by the time I was done, I went back to the hotel usually about 3 or 4, and I just didn't have it in me to return.
I hear you. I had those times too, like when I'm at a convention, like at Anime sometimes. It's like there's nothing to do. I could take more pictures, but I'm tired. I need a rest.
And usually during the acts, I frustrate my wife because I'm sucking down energy shots, and it's hard to follow the trail of me in and out of the hotel. This year, I was pretty easy to find.
Awesome. So, Stephen Blum, G.
Yo, what's up? Stay gold. My name's G. I'm a negotiator. Paradigm City.
Damn, that's so good.
I keep having to turn around and look at my TV. It's not too long. What the hell?
I know. It's awesome. So, G, tell me, what were the things you checked out this year at AX?
Let's see, the Last Comic Standing, the Bang Zoom open auditions, a lot of time in the exhibit hall. I spent most of my time really wandering and hitting cosplay gatherings.
Awesome.
I'm more of a people than a panel person.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, well, I did try to get into Steve Bloom's panel, but...
Awesome. So what were some of the gatherings you checked out?
Persona, mainly.
Ooh.
The Persona California scene is pretty tight knit. We actually meet up at midnight, which is cool. What else did I see?
You can go to Midnight Tea or karaoke
No, I
room.
did. I did watch Adventure.
Okay.
I did watch Adventure. Adventure. I also watched the voice actor panel with Edward Brosco too, which were both very informative, and Adventure was highly entertaining. But it's amazing how much time I could waste by just walking back and forth with the con.
Mm-hmm.
Like looking back, the list of things I did maybe hits 5. But I found somehow keep myself thoroughly entertained for 4 days. I don't know. I don't know how I do it. And my mind leaves my body.
I hear you. I hear you. The cool thing about going to anime conventions like these is that they're so big, and so many people are there. You kind of get lost of taking pictures and interacting with other cosplayers and congoers, and it's like, everybody's there to have fun, and like everybody's really friendly to each other, and you can like talk to like a random person to go straight up, and you guys will be friends instantly. Which is the cool thing and a good thing about anime conventions.
Oh yeah, anybody here have a Facebook convention syndrome where your friends list suddenly shoots up at like 15 people?
Yeah, right here.
And
it's like, hey, I saw you in the hallway, and you don't want to be a jerk and say no. It's like, okay.
Yeah, but I have the opposite problem of being married, being 35 years old, and all of a sudden there's 17-year-old Asian girls on my Facebook, and everyone keeps asking me, "What's this about?" Well, it's totally cool. I promise.
Yeah, it's funny how that works, and then it's like they contact you and like they friend you, but they never talk to you ever again afterwards. So it sounds like from all different perspectives, you guys had a lot of fun. There was something that I saw was on Sunday that was very interesting, and Jeremy, you might have more input on this than any of us. Is that the Anime Expo announced on their website and Facebook and Twitter that on Sunday afternoon around 3:30 they were letting anybody, or they were letting in people who do not have a badge or people who want to check out Anime Expo in for free, but only to the convention center and the exhibit hall, nowhere else. So I was kind of surprised for them to make a move like that, and I was trying to think of ways to why they did this.
People walking around the X Games, so why not use the increased traffic on a Sunday?
That's exactly why I think they didn't move weekends. I think they or somebody, I have no idea which, thought that they could, since the X Games and the Axe have generally the same demographic, they thought they could somehow attract these people with free badges to come into the convention center. My personal take on that is, why frack why? With the crowding already what it was after 2 days, I couldn't see the building taking that many more people. And,
right.
I mean, I even got that email that morning, and a friend of mine who wasn't going to Axe made sure I saw it because he'd been following what I put on Twitter and on cosplay.com. So I made it a point to leave the building by 4 that day. I didn't know if anybody was going to come, but I just didn't think I needed to have that much more body heat in there.
Right, I hear you. It was very interesting to see them announce that, and I was just trying to figure out why would they do something like that, because as far as I know, and it's fun, I have a few friends who know too, like Anime Expo has not been really making much money in the past, I think, was it a couple of years, maybe longer? Like
2010's been kind of a hot button discussion, because from what we can tell, they started the fiscal year of 2011 with an operating deficit of like $800,000, if everything I understand is correct.
Right. And I was trying to think, like, I don't think they could afford something to do a move like this unless they were making outstanding numbers this year to really say, like, okay, we're in the green, so we can do this. It was interesting to see that, but yeah, man, huh? But I mean, G, when you or I can't talk today. G, were you there on Sunday during that time at Anime Expo?
Of course I was there. What was I doing? Oh, yeah, that Sunday was the time I spent most of the time in the hallways.
Mm-hmm. Was it more crowded?
Yeah,
during that time?
did you see an influx of people come during the free registration period?
It was, no, mainly because I stayed away from the exhibit hall.
I see.
I was mainly just walking the hallways and just meeting up random people. I did notice a lot of people crowd around me, but that's because I'm Emperor Cusco, and come on, it's all about me.
Well, I guess the secondary question would be, did you notice any differences after that period? Because if people were allowed to wander the convention center after 3:30, you didn't notice any kind of bump up?
Not really. I'm not the most observant person about studying human traffic flow. Because when I see a dip, I just think, oh, there must be a big event, or it must be my lucky day going through this hallway.
Right. Okay. Again, very interesting what they did there.
Well, if I may, the only other thing I question is if they're going to go that route and offer free badges. I mean, from my perspective, 2 to 2.5 hours is not a lot of time to wander anything in a convention. So I don't know if you gave those out, especially to people who are not familiar with it, like the X Games. They really get a good cross-section of what they're seeing.
Good point. I think, well, if it's just an exhibit hall in a convention center, but you can't enter in any other rooms, I think you can cover the whole convention center pretty well as far as, like, just walking around. But, yeah.
You ain't getting nothing worth seeing walking around. You got to hit a panel or something.
Yeah, the exhibit hall, I mean, 2 hours. I really didn't see all the exhibit hall until day 4 because of the crowding. I just shot for what I was looking for and then got the hell out.
Gotcha. So I'm going to throw this question out to every one of you guys. Did you guys buy anything at the exhibit hall?
Tons of artist stuff.
Yeah, I bought the least amount of stuff I have since about 1998.
What was the stuff? Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
No, okay. I bought tons of stuff, and I don't normally buy a lot of things at cons, really. But there was just a lot of really good drawings at the Artist Alley fandoms that don't normally get a lot of love. I saw and are drawn very well, and I just had to throw down the cash. I don't know, for some reason I was buying everything Persona 4 related. It's just like, oh my god, I had to have this in my life. And I made a lot.
That particular part of the fan, huh?
Oh, dude, I love Persona 4. It's Teddy all the way, man.
Oh, I'm not arguing, dude. I watched it. He freaks me out.
He's
He's the greatest character, if you ask me.
Wow, that's so awesome, dude.
I know I am.
Makes me wish I watched more dubs.
Oh my god. It's so cool though. Dan, you've been kind of quiet. Like, what did you buy anything at the exhibit hall when you were there?
All I was looking for is Toho stuff, I guess, and all I found was counterfeit.
Wait,
legit Toho
You found bootlegs?
Or Toho drawings?
Oh no, not the drawings. The stuff like
You make it sound like
plushes.
Figmas and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I saw the Figmas. They're like $200. And I was like, no. That was tempting, but no.
That hurts my old heart.
That's cool, dude. Like, I mean, I'll be honest. I think the most I spent at an anime convention was at Fanime 2008, 9, I think it was, and I spent like $400 worth of like stuff at the exhibit hall, and I think that the most expensive thing I bought, and it's still sitting in my room right behind me, is $100 Halo figurine. It was the...
If you were going to say mechanical cat ears, I would reach through the internet and slap you in the face.
What's wrong with mechanical cat ears?
No,
Just
no,
don't talk to him with a girl, because they'll always know what's on your head.
No, that man, there were so many of those cat ears at Fanime this past year. It was insane amounts.
Did you try a conversation with somebody wearing them?
My friend had it. He wore it and he was talking to me, and I just could not laugh when he was talking. I was just like, oh. And the funny thing is not to I cannot talk today. Not to go off topic, but my friend, it was funny. He's told me a story that he was talking to a girl, and the entire time, like the girl kind of knew what he was like, his like emotions inside, because like whenever he like would talk to her, like his ears would perk up, or like they would like move around, and there was like an indication as far as like what he was he's feeling at the time.
Yeah,
You know,
it's
I
like
had my
reading the
doubts
emotions on a
about-
dog.
I had my doubts about those ears until I actually got them on my head, and I was like channeling like all my emotions into them, and they responded accordingly. Like
Yeah,
I think
actually,
I got
I've-
rejected by a girl, and then it was like, pew.
Yeah, I actually have a similar experience because I saw them all weekend. Somebody showed up to dinner at P.F. Chang's after the convention wearing them. And as I was talking to a guy, I noticed he couldn't bluff because whatever he was thinking was coming out of those ears. And even as I was talking to him and I explained how funny it was, somebody else just said, I had to stop you when you were speaking because as you were talking, the ears went straight up and one of them started to twitch. So you said something that caught his fancy.
God, that is awesome. Yeah, but man, those cat ears was just everywhere at Fanime. But anyways, was there anything you bought that was awesome this year, Jeremy?
Yeah, I managed to stop by a table and I wish I got their name because, like I said, I've been at this quite a while as a hobby. And I found a $15 collector's edition DVD of Project A-ko, and I nearly went through the roof.
Awesome.
You should have threw that person another $20.
Oh, man, I started to go through the rest of his table, but then I remembered I was kind of on a clock because I was meeting my wife. But, my average Anime Expo, I guess I go through somewhere between $700 and $1,100.
Jesus, god damn.
He's 35
This is
and
my
married,
summer
it's okay.
vacay to an extreme, dude. But to be honest, this year I only spent about $300. I came away with a lot in my pocket just because I, between the crowding and just this kind of weird apathy that seemed to be rolling through the dealer's hall half the time, it just wasn't there for me.
Right. I'm just curious, as far as the $300 worth of stuff, like what exactly did you buy?
I'm gonna take it 'cause
Okay,
it's-
I'm an XL person, not gonna lie, but I bought one Battlestar Galactica T-shirt, one Xavier Academy T-shirt,
Nice.
one Project A-ko DVD, a box set of DVDs of Code Geass Art 2 Season 2.
Nice.
I bought a Sonic plushie for my son. I also bought a lithograph from Joe Benitez, a poster from an artist named Zizou. In retrospect, I guess I only spent somewhere around $200. Shoot.
That's still a lot of money. I mean, as far as from a guy who's in college and is broke and has no job.
I'm a legal secretary. I make fair money, and my wife, bless her heart, she's employed too, so we do okay.
Awesome. Wow. That is insane. Like, it's funny. Like I said before, the exhibit hall, you can easily spend $1,000 in there. Easily. I got this apple stuck in my throat now. Hang on, man. Let me drink this water.
It's okay. I mean, my unicorn for the year was like trying to find a Masterpiece Rodimus Prime version 2, but the only 2 booths I could find had version 1, so cat ears down.
Yeah. Good shit. So, G, I wanted to talk to you because you went to the comedy. What was it called? The
Last Comic Standing.
Yes, Last
They're
Comic-
talking to one of the participants.
Oh, awesome.
The 2009 champion. There's right now a bicycle pump attached to my ego that I'm currently inflating right now.
What was it? By any chance, were you there last year?
No, I wasn't. I didn't make it into the finals, which was okay because I had AX Idol to worry about.
Okay, gotcha. Last year it was my first time actually going and checking out the Last Comic Standing. I went to the pre kind of getting the
The
auditions and then
Oh, you
final.
might have saw me there.
I might have. I have to
No, you probably did see me there.
probably. I mean, my memory's kind of hazy, but I remember I was sitting there, and the thing that I've learned is that it's probably better to go to the Last Comic Standing kind of finals than to the auditions because some of the stuff in auditions it made me kind of cringe a little bit in some of the jokes, and
that's fact of life. You'll see anything cringeworthy at any audition.
yeah, so I was like, Oh,
Is it kind of like the American Idol auditions where you're going to see the horribleness instead of the actual triumph?
Yeah, but seeing somebody be horrible at singing is still funny. Seeing someone be horrible at telling jokes is just, what are you doing with your life?
And on top of that, it's some of the jokes may be funny to the person that's telling them, but it comes off like not as funny, but also in some jokes it comes off as a little racist at times. Like man, there was some stuff in there that I was like, just man, I was cringing. I was like, ooh, that is yeah, wow, that's rough.
Kind of like that guy in the teal blue suit just hitting on chicks in the bar because they love the teal blue.
But G, can you tell me how was it like this year? How was it like?
The auditions are a lot fiercer. There's a lot more people. I was definitely sweating bullets when it's Dance in the Axe. When you got 54 people fighting for a spot for 10 slots, you got to bring your A game.
Mm-hmm.
And even coming in as a returning champion or a veteran with a reputation, you got to start from the ground up and earn it. And it's kind of like Evo. Daigo starts from the bottoms and fights his way to the finals.
And then he loses to Gamer B. Wah, 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 wah.
Well, I lost too this year, so maybe there's a parallel between Daigo and myself.
This may be kind of a stupid side question, but with Axe Idol out of the way this year, could that have flushed a few more contestants to the to the stand-up competition?
It's funny because the guy who took second place this year, Sean Chiplock, was the AX Idol winner of 2009.
Interesting. Multi-talented people. Awesome. But tell me, like, did you say you weren't able to qualify for the finals, right?
Right. I didn't.
Did you go to the last comic standing anyways? The
I
finals?
did go, but I was more there talking with the contestants backstage.
Oh, okay.
They grant me a lot of freedom. The staff, I'm pretty well liked, so I just wanted to talk to the people, congratulate them. I didn't really watch the show. I was more interested in people and how they thought they did, and just talking about next year.
Right. I gotcha. That's cool though. Like, last year when I watched it, I was laughing my ass off the entire time.
Oh, you better watch my act then. If you think that's great, then my act's gonna freaking knock you off your seats.
Oh, I sense dare.
But there's that bicycle pump again. You're still inflating it.
Is that what I'm grabbing? I hope it's a bicycle pump.
I'll make a point of it to do it next year if I go. But yeah, like, was it last year I went and it was pretty great. It was my first time watching it. It was pretty awesome. And it was funny too because
it better be funny.
No. Oh god. I mean, in a way, like last year, the big thing last year was the whole Miku concert thing was going on, and everybody was all hyped to go and check it out. And it was funny to me that I just lost my point. I just lost my point.
We were talking about Last Comic Standing. It was funny to you.
Yeah.
And then you forgot about it, so it wasn't funny enough.
Then we got into JT Payne.
That was my joke.
Not admitting it as my own, but
I'm going to probably use that next year. So if you steal it, I'll know where.
I'll make sure to laugh twice as hard when you tell it.
Don't worry, man. I won't steal your stuff. Fat guys on stage have to be twice as funny, and I'm not that.
I was okay. So I'm gonna try and redo it. So I think the point I was trying to get is that I felt that going to that the Lax Comic Standing last year was more fun and interesting than going to the Miku concert. Not to say that I didn't want to, but it was just...
That is a brave statement. Vocaloid people are going to email you en masse right now.
I am in full favor of this statement. So you need to put that in bold, italic lines, and then we're going to put your name right there and your phone number and your residential address.
I'm not speaking as a Vocaloid fan. I'm speaking as someone who would say in a crowd, "What's Vocaloid?" and then watch the hate just stare.
Right. No. Don't get me wrong. I like Vocaloid too. Like, I find it very interesting. I even cosplay as Lynn from time to time. I felt like I might have missed something last year because of not going. But at the same time, I I felt that going to Last Comic Standing was probably a better choice.
Last Comic Standing is one of AX's hidden gems, and it's kind of an ironic thing for me to say because it's one of the more popular ones, but it's just an event that still doesn't get a lot of credit that's due.
Mm-hmm.
Mainly that the talent that goes there, these are people who are legitimate comedians who just have sets geared to anime and nerdy stuff. And to see how they think and just to watch the crowd get wild, it's an event that encourages crowd rowdiness.
Yeah.
Well,
that,
Miku,
Finish your thought, please.
no, with Miku, you are cheering along, but you feel like you're more encouraging the virtual idol. While Last Comic Standing, the audience is there to laugh, but they're out for blood. If you do not please them, they are ready to throw you to the piranhas. And it's that level of danger that is so appealing.
You know what? And I think this is where you and I are going to be able to finally match up on the same side of the issue. I think you're right. Last Comic Standing is one of the hidden gems in the convention because it's one of those things where the fans are not only providing the audience, but they're providing the entertainment. And
They are. The fans choose the winner.
Yeah, and
Mm-hmm.
a lot of the times I think it sometimes gets lost in larger conventions that as much as we want the big industry and we want the huge guests of honor that make us just want to, drop down and fall to our knees, at the same time, the fans put in a lot of work for the entertainment themselves, and it's reflected when they put up so much effort and they put on such a great show.
Definitely, and it shows too. Exactly. Was it? I had a great time going to Last Comic Standing last year.
When the crowd gets really wild at Last Comic Standing, you might think there's going to be a riot on your hands.
Oh man. Yeah, that's totally awesome. So I'll ask this one final question to all of you, and you guys can take as much time as you want. For next year, what do you guys want to see better from Anime Expo? And I'll start with Jeremy.
Ooh, okay, loaded gun question. Me personally, I'm one of those strange people that I'm not interested in voice actors and directors as much. I appreciate the final. It's the kind of guy I am. I love the final product, but the guys behind the scenes, half the time, I treat them like Hollywood stars. They probably just want to be left alone for the majority of the day. I am the type of guy that would love to see an incredible kick-ass concert by some of the top names in J-Rock and J-Pop.
Mm-hmm.
And it for me, for the last few years, I don't know what's going on, but Axe has not been able to draw a lot of them.
Mm.
And it feels like sometimes I feel like that's one of the lacking things in the picture of the last few years is the type of music act that would just make people cock their heads to the side and go, well, that might be worth seeing. I've heard of him doing this, this, and this. Maybe it'll work live.
Right.
But at the same time, I would like to see more signage. It does seem like a lot of the time that unless you're really paying attention to the Twitter or the Facebook feed, you're missing out on a lot of details.
Right. And that's a totally valid point and valid thing that Anime Expo should look into and really have some sort of way of informing people like, hey, this is an awesome thing that's happening. And, better to have some way to communicate with the attendee than, go on Twitter or on Facebook while, everybody else is at the convention doing their own thing, which is awesome, which is a good idea. G, your thoughts?
That's a good one. I do think they should really focus, in addition to their great guests, that AX should also focus on having some really interesting panels.
Mm-hmm.
When I say interesting, not just stuff that anybody would know, the safe panels, like what's a Toho panel or how to draw manga.
Mm-hmm.
Really interesting stuff. One of the most interesting panels I ever saw was, is anyone here familiar with the series Kaiji?
No.
Vaguely.
Is that gambling?
Yeah, it's
Oh, I heard.
Kaiji is, they play a game of restricted rock, paper, scissors, and it's all about cheating and deceit, and it's all about not what the rules the judges tell you, it's what the rules they don't tell you. And at Fanime, they simulate that game.
Sounds like politics.
Yeah, it's one of the most intense things ever. I mean, you could just watch it. You could just see the backstabbing happen, and it's amazing. And that's the kind of stuff I would love to see in AX. They got a lot of space. They got a lot of people, so they could really do something unique. AX Idol, Last Comic Standing, Battle of the Bands, why are they so popular? They're unique. And I really, that small stuff, like even the small panel rooms, if they really fish out quality, they could get some real lookers.
Awesome, and I totally agree. I think what, because like there were a few panels I went to last year at AX that were, it was funny, but it was really awesome to kind of learn about too. And yes, you can have your fun with some of the panels, like, you know, that fans make up, but I feel like some other panels should be a bit more informative, just kind of, you know, be cool to, like, you know certain things that we might not know of a certain anime or a certain thing that not many people would point out.
I guess it's one of the problems of the consumer is that sometimes we get a little too absorbed in our superiority on whatever subject we think we're a specialist in.
Mm-hmm.
We don't seem to go to a lot of panels that rightfully should challenge us.
Right. Agreed. Definitely. Dan, I would ask the same question, but since it's your first anime convention, I have to ask a different question. Dan, since hearing all of us talk about Anime Expo and kind of the ups and downs of this past year and kind of what our experience has been, has this kind of persuade you to want to come to future anime conventions or to Anime Expo next year?
I'm thinking of going to the Pacific Media something.
Oh, that's a whole different beast altogether.
Yeah,
PMX.
that's a different show.
PMX.
I also plan on
You're
maybe
gonna
going-
have fun there, bro.
Oh yeah, we're not knocking it. The PMX is like, you know, if Anime Expo is like the event, the PMX is like the concert.
Okay, I guess I'll consider that then.
Consider you go.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Thinking
You
of
know what,
going
man? But
oh,
to be
no,
fair,
okay.
to be fair, Dan, you know, my constant gripe through the years of ACTS, at least during the last 5, is that the staff doesn't seem to have a full mastery of the building. It's weird to watch other people be able to give directions better than half the staff sometimes. But at the same time, next year with the ACTS and X Games so far apart, you may want to give ACTS like one more year and see what it's like without the juggernaut next to it.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, Dan, like, we've been going to anime conventions for a long time, and I think the one thing we all get away from going to each anime convention is we have a lot of fun. We have a lot of fun going to panels or gatherings or, you know, meeting new friends and kind of chilling out. And of course, there's always a great moment. Actually, I forgot to ask, was there a great moment you guys found out or kind of, you know, walked upon at Anime Expo this year?
That is
Giant
a rough question.
Blitzcrank and dancing fiddlesticks.
Yes.
And game.
Oh, wow. In my case, it's a little personal, but the Dead or Alive group kind of fizzled. It turned out to be me and a couple other people.
Mm-hmm.
But dressed up as Base Armstrong, there was a young lady who showed up dressed up as Kasumi, and she thankfully was A, dancer, and B, not afraid of getting physical. So there's some interesting pictures of her trying to throw a kick on me, or she suddenly took a running jump, and I found her like on the upper half of me, and it made for some really interesting pictures.
Awesome. There also it is because I've been watching from the outside looking in on YouTube, whatever I can pick up, and I'm still waiting for them to somebody upload some video footage of that cosplay chess that they did.
Oh, you're
share.
at Cosplay Chess?
I can't talk today. No, I wasn't. I'm waiting for somebody to upload.
I was in Cosplay Chess.
Oh, you
so-
were? Oh
Yeah.
my God, dude.
This year or last year?
This year.
Okay.
I was in it 2 years ago, but this year I was Uncle Chan, so that's...
Awesome. Quick question. Was it good?
Well, I mean, I was there, so...
No, because
And I wasn't, so that made it better, I bet.
I like the pieces chosen. I think one of my favorites was on our side. We had for the 2 rooks, a couple brought the sun and the moon from Soul Eater.
Oh, yeah. That is awesome. Oh my god.
Yeah, and then on the other team, they had the sun and the moon Pokemon, because
Oh.
those anime video games. Like, Maguma really knows how to pair off his pieces very well.
Nice. Oh man, hopefully somebody will upload the footage because I really would love to see cosplay chess. God, that's so awesome. Anyways, as I was saying, Dan, as you can tell, like we've all had a lot of experience. We all had a lot of fun. So yeah, like definitely, like you should definitely keep going to anime conventions. It only gets better from here. And as far as like my thoughts on Anime Expo, even though I didn't go, again like they're gonna be apart from the X Games next year, so which is good. So they have all that land back that the X Games took, and they're gonna utilize it like they did previous years. I feel that, and I kind of noticed this as by myself about last couple conventions I've been going to, is like I don't go to enough panels to really check out. It's interesting panels, but just human interaction with other people during those panels. That and the other thing is Anime Expo should adapt what other anime conventions are starting to do now, and it is in the game room, have somebody stream like the matches that go on at the convention on Twitch TV or on Own3 or whatever stream website, for people to watch that they're at home, because
That is an awesome idea for the people even walking around the convention with like a high-speed internet access.
Definitely. Because when I was at Fanime this past year, the guys at Finest KO came up to stream some Fanime matches, Marvel, Street Fighter, and they had the cool thing.
Oh, dude, I love Finest Chaos. They're actually doing a big Persona 4 event over at Game Center.
Yeah, and the cool thing was this past year at Fanime, like they even had like commentators that they brought along to commentate on some of the matches, and it was so cool. Like I feel like that is a great way, or hopefully something that more anime conventions can pick up and start doing the similar things that Fanime did with the gaming and everything. So
I gotta figure out how to do that. I can do uninformed commentary. Oh, I think he's got to hit him back.
No, not to more. Let me get my bicycle pumped. They for the Persona 4 event, they're asking me to help commentate at a specific time because they want me to commentate the Persona 4 matches in character as Teddy
No
from
way.
Persona 4.
That's sick. That's
Yeah,
sick.
it's a little preview there. It's gonna be fun.
Awesome. Well, gentlemen, I would like to thank each and every one of you for joining me late this night. It may have been kind of weird for some random dude to ask on the forum who wants to be in a podcast, but it all turned out well.
But you promised candy and fun in the park.
Shh, that's later.
Oh boy!
I'm gonna leave you guys to plug in whatever you guys need to plug in. G, I'll let you go first, and then we'll go to Dan and Jeremy.
Look me up on YouTube, GeForce 4. If you want to see something I was recently in, the most famous one would be the Persona 4 High Am Daisy videos. I play Teddy there, so that was fun. But you need a voice, you just need a sexy Steve Bloom impersonator to talk to me. I'm going to be worth your while.
Awesome. Dan?
I know I am.
Dan, where can I find you on the internet?
Oh no, let's go. I like to keep that to myself, I guess, or something.
I see. So pretty much look
Street.
for an average looking dude just walking down the street, pretty much.
But then Dan will walk down the street, bust open his shirt, and he is Superboy.
He is like the Robin before Robin. Jeremy, how about you? Where they gonna find you on the internet?
Oh God, I am not business savvy. I am on cosplay.com. My screen name is Frayed. I'm a frequenter of Anime Los Angeles, Fanime, and Anime Expo these days. But I'll do a solid.
ALA, gonna
Hail to the
go.
Well, I staff and volunteers there.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah.
But I will say this, at Anime Expo, for the few of us that showed up for Dead or Alive, there was this guy named Vince Blanco. He showed up and he took pictures. He did an awesome job. He was a real great guy. So Vince Blanco Photography, also known as Sage Knight Photo on Facebook. So I'll drop him a solid.
Sweetness. And you can find me on Twitter at DefectiveNaruto. You can find all of our stuff, including this podcast, on our website, www.missionstartpodcast.com, where you can find all of our stuff, links to Twitter, our Facebook, our YouTube page, everything you need to know about our website, and everything associated to it. So, again, thank you guys. And before we go,